What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Let's just jump right in. Today's topic, why you still don't like leg days and how to fix that. Let's go. Let's just talk about leg days in general and why people don't like them. At least for me, for a while, I didn't like them, or I guess I should say I absolutely despised and dreaded them uh, because of two main reasons. The first one, it's uncomfortable and difficult, more so than upper body. Like I hit a good, upper body workout or the upper body portion of, say, a full body workout, and that feels like better. And it's not like, sure, it's uncomfortable and difficult, but it's not like bad. It's like the good kind that feels more rewarding. And the second thing is just that it gasses you a lot. And I think a lot of people don't like to necessarily feel that gassed after a workout, especially like the next day, very sore, especially delayed onset soreness. I feel like really hits for leg days. So I think those are the two main reasons. Now let me tell you about my story, and then we'll get started into more of the fixes for it. So for me, about 2 years ago was when I started being probably over the most consistent I'd been at the time with working out, and obviously, I wanted a full body, like a full experience. So I'd hit my leg days, of course, but I had to really force myself to. So my split at the time was just a classic like push pull legs. So every Wednesday or so, just at the time it was just Wednesdays and Saturdays, but mainly Wednesdays because of how much I did, were my leg days. And I remember it was so bad. It wasn't just like Wednesday I didn't want to go work out. It was like every Monday and Tuesday I would dread Wednesday. I was just dreading it. And then once it was over, I felt like the rest of the week just went by. It was so great. That's how bad it was. It kind of affected like the like my personal life a little bit, like outside of the gym, which is pretty crazy. So it took probably like 3 or 4 months after that for me to fully start appreciating it more and not love it. I do really love a good leg day nowadays, but just to like tolerate it pretty much. Um, and the main thing at the time for me was just I was doing a lot of exercises I didn't necessarily like. I was definitely not using the best form, which can make you have worse results and feel worse. And of course, big thing was I was overtraining. I was doing like 1 or 2 hours, and it's okay to have those longer sessions, but all the time it was not good. So to put it into perspective, it was like at least a solid 25-30% longer than my other workouts. So it was way too much. I think like 3 or 4 leg exercises per muscle. So like for my quads, I do like squats, Bulgarian split squats, leg press. It was ridiculous. Like in one day, it wasn't just like a couple of those or just one of them. It was all one day, which is definitely too much. So for me to fix that, I started doing things like boxing, which really trying to change up my training from like a bodybuilder focus and like just strength for lifts to more like athletic. And then now I've done a lot more full body work. I've changed things up. I've reduced the load, and I've lifted a lot smarter. So that's kind of my story, which is maybe a bit more extreme. I think a lot of people just don't like it that much, but obviously you still do it. But I do know like I definitely skipped it a few times just because it was that uncomfortable for me. So now let's get into the main ways to fix it and how you can actually like it and even love it. I dare to say, get you to love leg day. So the first thing is to just recognize if you're overtraining. That was my big problem, and I think if you are, you could easily reduce that down. Realistically, for like any muscle group, you only need one, maybe two movements per. Like for your biceps, you really only need like one movement, and if you do it to failure good enough, 1 or 2 movements, you'll be just fine. So reducing it, if you're doing like more than 2 movements, so if you're doing like 3 quad movements, I would reduce that down to at least two, and look at how many sets you're doing too, because that also is very important. So, the first thing, recognize if you're overtraining. Now, number two is to just change things up. This one's also very, very important. So, like, let's say you're doing Bulgarian split squats. If you hate them, then maybe don't do them for a while and come back to them. Maybe switch it up for like a jump squat or lunges or something like that. Any other, exercise that focuses on quads like Bulgarians do. For me, I do like Bulgarians. So that was never much of a problem, but I know a lot of people do not like them. Understandably so. But just switching it up is a good way. to go about that. And then the third and final thing is one that really depends on your situation, but it's to just take like a week or two off, or like take it light, and and this is just for a week or two, just to see if you're like overtrained and burnt out. 'Cause sometimes taking that extra time, your body can heal and you'll come back stronger with extra time off. And then the main thing is just you'll come back with more, clarity mentally and feel a lot better about it. And I'm not saying to just stop working out. I'm saying to go light, to take a step back, work on form, and maybe reassess what goals you have, whether it's building a physique, being more athletic, etc., that sort of stuff. And like I said, that really depends on the situation. I think a lot of people probably aren't overtraining to that point, but I think some people could definitely benefit. I definitely did, and that helped me quite a bit. So those are some of the main, focuses, but I think those alone will just get you to more tolerate it or like it, and that was definitely the case for me. And it took probably another like 6 to 7 months after I started tolerating it to really actually look forward to it. Sometimes more than like an upper body day, and I love a good chest day, for example. Um, and so that's when we move on to the loving it stage, because there's no point in doing it if you're not gonna absolutely love it, and obviously not going to every time, but a lot of time, enjoying it is very important. So for that next step, once you've tolerated it and liked it, that's when you need to fine tune. Find not only the exercises you like, but the ones that give the best results. Because when you see the results more, it makes you want to do it more. That also reminds me, the mindset. You don't do leg day because, you like feeling the uncomfortableness of hitting legs. You like the results, how it makes you feel, and also just the challenge. You got to change the mindset. Because at least for me, it was very much, you know, oh, I hate spending 2 hours working out for like my least favorite muscle or set of muscle groups. But now it's more, I use my legs for everything, so I look forward to making them more functional, making them stronger, and also, a good workout just feels good. So that mindset shift makes you appreciate it a lot more, which is the next step. And I think the final thing is to just make it fun. Like it doesn't have to be very, um, I don't know the best word for this, but repetitive. It doesn't have to just be I got to do my 3 sets and then I got to do my other 3 sets, whatever. Like make it more fun. Like so maybe if, for example, you be consistent, obviously, but one day you just decide you're just going to do something completely different just to try it out, and then you go back to your other program and then evaluate it. Or sometimes I'll just do that, even if it's a movement I don't really like. I'll just change it up just for one day, just because. And I think that makes it fun, and I think also making it fun. So like maybe instead of just doing movements, you go play a game like a sport or something that requires legs, or a lot of leg power. For example, for me, going to the boxing gym and sparring, you would not believe the amount of legs that it requires, especially once you get really into it, or if you're pivoting a lot, you can use a lot of leg power, more than you might expect for something that is just punching. And so I think going out and just having fun. But the thing is, even though my legs got way more tired than like a bunch of squats would get me, I enjoyed it so much. Like I was wanting to go back for more, even when I was super tired. And so I think finding something you enjoy is how you can really love it. Anyways, with that all being said, leave in the comments your favorite leg exercise, or if you have any other tips, because, the more the merrier for anyone looking to love their leg days. Um, for me, currently, I do more of a full body split, and so it's all baked into it, and I think that's been very fun for me. I highly recommend it. I've been doing the Greek tetrad style of training. I'd highly recommend checking out my video on that, on how that training works. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.